Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. And I was thinking about something today that I thought I would talk about. Still kind of formulating this thought, but I thought I'd talk it out right here in the video, which is this idea of exploiting your own weakness. So what I'm thinking about here is basically, what is it, like if you were trying to bring yourself down, if you're trying to figure out if you're your own opponent, and you're trying to figure out what is the weakness, what is the thing that you could exploit that would totally bring you down, what is that? And not just thinking about what that is, but then taking it to the next level and saying, okay, so what is the thing that would take me down, and how can I do that to myself in I don't want to say safe environment, but sort of a planned environment. So it's purposely exploiting your weakness. What could you do that would make it difficult for you? For example, right, I was just thinking about this today because I was doing a lot of videos in my office, and it's sort of ideal conditions, right? I've got my camera set up, there's no one there, right? It's not awkward at all when you're talking in front of the camera. Well, it is if you've never done it before at all, but it's not as awkward, in your own environment talking in front of the camera. But what would be awkward for me, or what would be difficult for me, is if I'm trying to walk down where it's sort of crowded, where it's kind of windy, and I'm trying to record the videos. And I'm not just trying to record the video, but I'm trying to do the same level of video that I would do if I were just in my office, right? That's sort of a weakness that I could exploit. So I'm purposely, today I said, okay, I'm gonna walk outside and I'm gonna start doing videos, and I'm gonna make it hard for me. I'm gonna go to where there's a fairly decent crowd of people, where I'm gonna have to raise my voice to some degree, and where it might be a little bit intimidating, and I'm gonna record. And even though I've done this before, and I've talked about this before, and I did this video on what freedom is, what true freedom is, and I was talking about, the ability to be uninhibited, to be able to do whatever you want. That's sort of related, but I still realize that even though I've overcome that to some degree, it's still a weak point. Like, someone could basically put me in an environment, and they could put me in a spot where I need to record the videos for the channel, but I don't have ideal conditions. I've got just the phone. I've got a lot of people around. I've got a lot of noise. I've got wind. I've got all of these things that make it difficult. So why don't I do that to myself? Why don't I make it extremely difficult for me to record a video, and then force myself to become better, right? Take myself down. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm practicing that today, and you got to continually practice that, because what if I could get to the point where I was totally immune to that? What if I could turn that weakness that someone could exploit, not that, I can't imagine how someone would exploit it, but circumstances could exploit that in me, and I could turn that into a strength, so that I'm totally unflappable in this particular set of conditions, somewhere where I would be flappable, right? So that's the kind of idea. It's like, what could you do? Where is it where, and the way to look for this, I think, is to look for the things that you actually have as a strength, but it's a strength because you've been able to control the environment or the circumstances, and you've made it something that's easy for you to do. So take a strength, and then think about how that, a different context, a different set of environments, a different set of circumstances could now make that extremely difficult and totally throw you off your game, or totally rattle you, right? So you could think of it this way, like, let's say that you're playing golf. I don't play golf, but what if you had to play golf and you need that focus and concentration to be able to, hit your putt? And instead you said, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere where people are yelling and screaming and the ground is shaking. I don't know where you could go where the ground is shaking. There's planes flying overhead, and it's really, really difficult for you to make that putt, and you practice under those conditions, right? Then when you get in the real condition that you have the controlled environment, not only are you gonna be better, but when things happen, and things always happen, they always mess you up, you're gonna be able to handle that because you're taking the extreme version of it. It's sort of that quote that I like. I can't remember the exact quote, but Tim Ferriss says a lot, where, I'll have to get this exact quote, but essentially, you don't rise to the level of your expectations, you fall to the level of your training. So if you want to be better, you got to figure out, you got to train in the harsh conditions, right? I think, and this is nothing like groundbreaking, revolutionary. A lot of people do this. I just realized I haven't been doing enough of that. A lot of athletes do this. A lot of people do this where they're purposely training in much harsher conditions than what they actually expect to face in battle. But I think it's a good thing just to think about, okay, what is it? What is the big thing that could take you down? Because if you've become sort of anti-fragile against the thing that can take you down, if those conditions, if you can at least be robust, if you can at least be to the point where the thing doesn't harm you, but even better so where it actually helps you, where you can figure out how you can utilize the chaos and you can utilize that to actually make you better, then that's a great place to be, because now you've protected your downside, right? One of the best things that you could do, I've done a lot of videos on this idea of protecting your downside. I should probably do a playlist on this, but basically the idea that it's not the steps forward, the big steps forward that you make that benefit you so much, but it's protecting the downside. It's when you don't make the mistake. It's when you do damage control and the losses are small. So if you purposely exploit your own weakness and you purposely make things difficult for you, way more difficult than they need to be, then now all of a sudden, when things go wrong, they can't go as wrong. There's like a bottom to it, right? If I can, again, to bring it back to the video, if I can record videos under any kind of harsh conditions, whatever it is, there's all kinds of people yelling at me or whatever it is, it's windy and it's intimidating, or I'm walking around in my underwear. Not that I'm taking it to that level yet. We'll see. Maybe something. I actually did a little bit, right? I did that video you can check out where I did the half marathon and I was walking around in that Hercules outfit. But if you can take it down to that level and still be able to function, then wow, you're gonna be so much better off when the shit does hit the fan, because it will. And hopefully you'll have trained in a much harsher condition than the worst thing that's likely to happen, and so you'll be able to just take it with a stride. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna focus on, and not just in video, but like I want to look at the different areas of my life and figure out where is it that if someone were like, okay, strategically, I need to take John Sonmez down. Where can I attack his ego? Where can I attack him physically? Where can I attack him psychologically? Where can I, cause him to crumble, or circumstances could? What can I? Those places I need to train in those conditions, train in harsher than those conditions, so that when those conditions do arise, they don't rattle me. It's not a problem. If you like this video, click that subscribe button below and you'll join me on the journey to self-improvement. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.